Welcome everyone. My name is Wendy Sinclair. I am the Indigenous Services Advisor for Regina Public Library. We're very excited to be here at Cross this evening. Before I introduce Dickie Ujistiki, I want to acknowledge that Regina Public Library is located on Treaty 4 territory, the traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, and homeland of the Métis. The library is committed to working together with Indigenous peoples as we take an important step forward on the pathway of collaboration, reconciliation, and change. Storytelling is an honored tradition in Indigenous culture. It is highly valued as it passes on our Indigenous knowledge from one generation to the next. The library is honored to hold space for these stories to be heard. I'm pleased to introduce our storyteller this evening, Dickie Ujistiki. As many Indigenous peoples today, Dickie comes from a culturally diverse heritage. His heritage represents the majority of the Plains cultures found in southern Saskatchewan today, Ojibwe, Cree, Métis, and Dakota. Dickie is unique in that he was raised by his great-grandparents who never went to residential school. They raised him pre-reservation style until it was his turn to go to residential school. Dickie is a residential school survivor and a multi-generational trauma survivor. He is a master storyteller. He is a traditional power dancer, a singer, an artist, a storyteller, a Red Seal chef, and the owner of the Sous Chef Catering. Please welcome Dickie.
Hello everybody, good evening. I usually tell stories and it takes about 90 minutes to do a complete story of the creation story, so I got 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna do a few little stories here and there just to make you guys laugh, make you realize what it's all about. I'm gonna play my flute and sing on my drum and just show you what it is to be First Nations person, what it means to be a master storyteller. Now, I was given up at the age of 2.5 by my mom and dad, raised by my great-grandparents, Algan, Maggie, Nookshish from the Okanese First Nation. When I moved in with them, they were already in their early 80s, and I stayed with them for 10 years. So when they passed away when they're in their 90s, I grew up and learned a lot. Basically, because of residential school, I am who I am today, and I know what I know today because of it. You see, my great-grandparents had 14 children. All 14 children were taken away and sent to LeBret Indian Residential School. Because at that time, where their house was located on the Okanese First Nation, there was a road that split east and west. The people who lived on the west side of the road, they went to the day school on the reserve. The people who lived on the east side of the road, their kids got shipped off to the Catholic residential school, or otherwise known as a concentration camp. That's what we call it today. So my grandfather, my mom's dad went to LeBret school. My mom, she went to LeBret school. My dad went to LeBret school. And after I got into trouble, I went to LeBret school too. So, I'm a third generation. Been in it all, seen it all, lived it all. And this is storytelling in a nutshell, real quick. So it's winter time and we have a spirit being we know as a trickster to the Cree people is known as the Sakichuk. When the earth was first created, this whole tent was nothing but stars, galaxies everywhere. We have stories about beings from way over there, way over there, way over there. And ones from way back there, those ones back there, they're mean. They come here, they only want one thing, they want to eat us. But we chased them away once and we'll chase them away again if they ever come back. So, why am I saying this? Because we have stories about all that stuff. See, us as Cree people, we've been here since the beginning of time, when it was first created. And then, when the Sakichuk came down, made the land, he made all the animals, he made all the people, he created the 4 great nations, the Red Nation, the White Nation, the Yellow Nation, and the Black Nation people. They started fighting amongst themselves, and they moved to different parts of the world on that first island known as Turtle Island, otherwise known as Pangea, if you want to get scientific. One first land. Then after a while, the Creator got mad, and he dove his hands into the ground, and he cut around all the people, and he separated that land, creating all the waters to rush in, creating what the globe looks like today. Now, if you travel all the way around the world, all the stories that I say are true. Meaning, when the first people were created, we needed helpers, so they created little people And then they created Big Brother. Big, tall, hairy, had big feet. He was our protector. You see, I'm giving you hints. You should know who these people are, what these creatures are. Little people. After I graduated high school, I traveled all over the world in a First Nations powwow tour. We went for 2 years. We traveled over North America, and Europe, and then all over the world, Asia. Wherever we stopped, I'd visit with the old people and ask them, what, do you guys have any beliefs in the little people? You have any beliefs in the Big Brother? Went to England, borrowers, the littles. We went to another place, Ireland, nothing but leprechauns, all them, little people. To Iceland, them too, little people, big tall giants. Australia, Yahweh and you, little people. Yahweh's big guy, Big Brother, hairy, crazy. Asia, a lot of names for little people. One name for Big Brother, they know him as the Yeti. That's what we call them, Zungados, little people. Onoskalians, little small ones. And then we have Sabe from Tasca, or otherwise known as, he's got big feet. So that's kind of stories we tell. So this one morning, Wasakachak woke up and he had to go for a walk. And he was walking, and back then, his body parts had the ability to talk to him and he talked back. So this is what happened. As he was walking, his stomach was slowly talking to him. Hey, Wasakachak, I'm hungry. So he looked at his stomach, shut up. He kept on walking. Then his stomach got a little louder. Hey, I'm really hungry. Shh, instead he kept walking. And then his stomach was really getting too worse. Hey, what's wrong with you, boy? Come on, feed me. He said, I'm hungry. So he said, okay, fine. He said, keep you quiet. Man, so he walked into the bush. He saw berries. Sweet berries, sour berries. He even saw some things that he shouldn't have eaten, like a few mushrooms. He ate those too. He saw 2 little mushrooms and he ran after it. He picked them up. Picked up the first mouse. I'm sorry, he said. Picked the other mouse up. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Followed him down too. He ate so much stuff that his stomach was full and kept quiet. And the Sakachek was happy. So he kept walking. He's walking this trail. And he was thirsty, so he went to the river. He drank from the river. Back then it was safe to drink the water out of the river and out of the lakes. So he drank it. Kept walking. In time he was walking, and all of a sudden his butt started talking to him. Quietly at first. What's wrong with you? Why'd you eat that? So he told his butt, shut up. He kept walking. Oh, he walked a little further. And then again, his butt started getting louder. I hate you. I really hate you. Oh, he looked at his butt. Shut up, he said, and he kept walking. And then his butt starts singing, I hate you. Why'd you eat that? What's wrong with you? Why'd you eat that? Finally, Sakachak got mad. Oh, I'm gonna fix my butt, he said. So he walked into the bushes. He saw a willow tree and he grabbed a switch out of the willow tree, snapped it off and he cleaned it off. But he left all the jagged edges at the tip. And every time his butt talked, whoosh, he whipped it. So, if that was us, we were walking and our butt started talking to us, we'd hear this. So every time he heard that noise, he whipped it, and whipped it, and whipped it, and whipped it, and tore himself up. He gave himself such a good licking and whipping. He couldn't sit down. It hurt too much. He couldn't lay down because it hurt too much. So he just kept walking slowly, kept walking. Same trail, same trail. They say it's Wasakachak's trail and he walked it all the time. In fact, you can actually see different parts of him in different parts of the world because there's footprints in the ground, in the stones. That was actually his trail where he walked. You just gotta look for it. Go on Google, look it up. I'm not lying, it's all true. So he was walking. He started getting hungry again, but he didn't want to go through all the berry problems like he did before. So as he was walking, he saw something on the ground. He walked up to it. He picked it up. It was a long piece of dried meat about yay long. Kind of looked like bacon. He brought it up to his nose and he smelt it. It smelled pretty good, so he nibbled it. It tasted pretty good too. So he ate it, swallowed it down, and kept walking. He found another piece. and another one, and another one, and another. I said, yeah, ooh, someone's looking after me. So he put him in his bag, kept walking. They found another one and another one. Oh, he's really finding lots. Remember, he's the only one walking on this trail. Him by himself, days and days and days he walked. And then all of a sudden, his stomach went brrr. We all know that sound. There's business one, and then there's business two. Business two wanted out something fierce. Even back then we needed privacy. But Sakachuk needed privacy too. So as he was walking, he was looking in the bushes for a spot. Then he saw a spot in the bush here. So he walked in there. As he walked in, there was a branch that caught something on the side of his leg and cut him. Yay! He said, and he reached down. He went to go pick it up. He grabbed it, it was off his leg. He pulled it and pulled it and pulled it. And he pulled it up. Yeah! And he brought it up. And there it was. A long piece of dried meat about yay long. He looked at it. He looked in his bag. He looked at it, looked in his bag. And the story ends with him saying, oh no. And that's where the story stops. Now, I was told this story when I was about 3 years old in the Cree language. And if I told it in the Cree language, it'd take a lot longer to tell it because it's such a descriptive language. So it's really easy to tell you in English. Now, the Ojibways call this story Nanabush eating dried meat. But us Crees and the Hill people, we're straightforward. We tell it how it is. We're gross, we're funny. We make you laugh and you get all grossed out over it. And this is where the gross part comes in. It's called Wasakachuk eating his scabs. Now the reason why we call it that is because we tell the story to our little kids. And we really do tell this to our little kids. Long time ago in teepee times, the kid goes out playing, falls down, scrapes their elbow. They bleed. They go running to cook them or nook them or their mom. And she cleans it off. And something grows over top of it. And it gets hard and crusty. And little kids like to pick and pick and pick. And sometimes something lifts off. And they look at it. They pick a little more, then they grab it and they start pulling on it. They pull, they pull, they pull, they pull, and they pull it off. And then they look around. And then they go like this. And sometimes that's what they do. So, funny story. Some of you out there might have witnessed that at some point in their time, where they actually did it too. Now, me, I was raised by my great-grandparents, and basically, they had all their children taken away from them. They didn't have anybody to teach their language and their stories and all their culture too. You see, my grandfather was what we call a holy man. He was a medicine man. And then, when I was born, I fulfilled the prophecy that he had with my mom, that she would have a set of twin boys. They'd be both stillborn, one would come to life and he would raise him. Well, that's me. 15 minutes after I was born, I came back to life. I remember it. I remember the day I was born. I remember almost every day since birth, all the way back. That's how my mind works. I graduated high school at 15 and a half. So, I'm not no dummy. I remember things. It's kind of funny and goofy, but that's how it works. So, after I graduated high school, I traveled the world through North America on the powwow trail, and I got picked up to go on a dance troupe, and I went all over the world that way. And from there, I shared stories with old people from all the way around the world. After high school, from my reserve, Open East, the next reserve over, Star Blanket First Nation, all of Fraught Hills, we had 32 graduates that year that I graduated. So all the reserves threw money and they shipped us all to Australia for a month and a half as a trip. Everybody thought, all right, we can go live on the beach. We were on the beach for maybe a week. All the rest of the time we were living in the outback with the Aborigine people, learning to live off the land with those people, learning their culture, how they survive. So, like I said, I've been all over the world and I've listened and talked to a lot of old people. So, that's storytelling in a little bit of a gist. There's other storyteller too. One using the Native American flute. At one time, these flutes were, how'd I say, only for boys. sorry ladies, but at one time it was only for boys for a reason. You see, when they hit the age of about 13, 14, there's a thing called courting. See, that's modern day dating, but back then there were protocols. So when they go and see this girl, the boy couldn't walk up to that girl and say, hey, let's go picking berries, let's go get a Slurpee, go get a drink. I don't know. One, they didn't exist. Two, there were rules. So if he saw that girl, say, oh, that's the girl I like, she smiles at me, I smile at her. He's got to go talk to his mom. Mom, I like that girl, or not that, I like that girl. His mom was okay. She said, Mom's job now is go talk to her mom. Uh-oh. Nookum, Cookum is now involved. Grandma is in the circle now. So mom tells that her son likes that girl. Okay. So grandma's job is to go find out who that girl is, who her mom is, and who the Cookum is. Then the Cookums talk. And if it's agreed upon, that Cookum would talk to her daughter. And then that daughter would, her mom, talk to the girl. And say if it was all agreed upon, there was a certain area of the teepee camp where there was one chair here for the boy, a little ways away a chair for the girl, and a little ways away a whole bunch of chairs for their mom, their sisters, their cousins, and all the grandmas to see nothing but that boy play nothing but love songs on that flute to catch her eye. So he would play love songs. Now this flute is what we call a grandfather flute. Professionally made, it's in a lower key, and it's also a drone. There's two holes, two pipes. This controls the tune. This is the drone. The easiest way I can explain it is like a church organ. So when I play both sides, you'll know what I mean. So this is the flute. Now I get into the music part with the drum. Of all the songs that we sing, the first one is love. The love song. And that drum beat is inside you. It's inside you, in here. Our mushroom used to always tell this joke. If it sounds like this, he'd say, you're sick, get to the hospital. And when you're older, from the little kids, and you're older and you meet that right person, no matter who it is or what gender, your heart races, meaning you're in love. That's how it goes. So to the Dakota people, the Sioux, this is how we sing. hey yo, hey da, hey da, hey da, yo, hey da, hey da, hey da, hey da, hey da, hey da, hey yo, hey de, hey ya, hey ha, ya, hey, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey. That's Dakota style. So this one morning when I was about 4 years old, there was a big knock at the door. Went to the door. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. Opened the door. And there stood the biggest, tallest Indian cowboy I've ever met. And this is the first time I met him. So I looked at him. Who the hell are you? I told him. He looked at me and said, oh, you must be a Sissom, a little mushroom. Where's my cousin? Alec. I said, he's in bed sleeping. Oh, go wake him up, he says. Okay, well, who are you? Tell him his cousin from the north is here, and I want breakfast. Oh, okay, I said. So I let him in, sat him at the table, walked over to the door, opened the bedroom door to my mushroom. His cousin from the north is here. I said, he's hungry and he wants breakfast, I said. Mushroom said, well, I'll give him some tea and give him a piece of bannock for now. We'll get up, he said. It's about half hour. I said, okay. So, of course, me being a little parrot went over there and bossed this old guy around. What I mean by the tallest, Indian cowboy had black cowboy boots, black jeans, a black shirt, a black overcoat, and a black Cheyenne style cowboy hat. That's a flat cowboy hat, the round dome top, and a big black tip eagle feather in there. He sat down, he took off his hat, and he started talking with me back and forth. He told me, he said, you and me, we're the same. He said, me too. He said, I was raised by my kukum and nussum. He said, but the problem was when I was younger, he said, they hid me, he said, from the police. They hid me from the church so that I wouldn't go to school. He said, that's why I don't speak much English. I only speak lots of Cree. Okay. And he had this kind of a big envelope with him, a big carrying thing. Inside there he had paintings that he was going to give away to my mushroom and kukum. So we visited for breakfast and stayed for lunch. You know how relatives are, they don't want to go home. And stayed for supper. And then after supper, he saw all our hand drums on the wall, and he said, hey, Sissom. He said, grab 2 drums, one for me, one for you. I'm going to teach you something. I said, okay. Now, this style of drumming, this is what we call Nahila style, Cree style. What you don't see behind, I'm using my fingers like this, and I'm stopping the vibration of the drum. And for centuries and centuries, thousands and thousands of years, the Nahila people sang our round dances like this. In the early 1900s, late 1800s, it stopped because of residential school. All our boys went to school. They stopped learning that style of singing. Now in the 1960s, one of my uncles from Little Pine was up in Ottawa, and he was going through the National Archives, and he came across some wax recording records, records made out of wax. Put it in that player and he was playing it. He heard powwow singing and round dance singing with a certain style of drumming, so he used his little tape recorder and taped it. From there he traveled all over asking all the relatives, older generations, how to do this, how to do this. You know what this is? And finally he went to the same person I went to and asked his uncle, what is this? So he showed him. Now this song I'm going to sing is the first round dance song I was ever taught. And this is the song that he gave me. Now other singers use this song, but this is the one, I own this one, this is mine. And then that old mushroom that came and visited me, his name was Aaron Sapp. So this is what it is when it comes to storytelling. You deal with the time that you're given. So I got 30 minutes. I used my 30 minutes up. I got about a minute and a half to go. So this is how it is. I come up here and I share what I know. Now, there's a lot of elders out there, different storytellers from all over, and they know what they know and they teach. Now, I was forced to learn these. I was forced to carry this on. It was my job to hold on to that bundle that my grandfather gave to me. Not only did I learn the Cree culture, I learned the Soto culture, and I learned most of the Dakota culture that he knew, because I am a part of all those nations, and I keep them separate. Cree here, Soto here, Dakota here. I don't borrow, I don't bend back and forth, I keep them separate. So when someone comes up to me and asks me, can I learn something? I'll say, okay, fine. There's a gift, tobacco, sit down. And my mushroom used to say this to people. You want to learn? Sit down, shut up, and listen. That's what I say too. Sounds rude, but that's how we are. We're straightforward. And there's always one more thing about First Nations people. We lost a lot of things. We lost our culture, we lost our language, we lost our land. But we didn't lose our sense of humor. Because somewhere in one of your families out there, you have what was called a relentless teaser. And that uncle or that auntie will tease and tease and tease and tease you till you cry. And if you cry, they'll tease you and call you a crybaby and tease you even more. So, that's storytelling. With that, thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming out. We're going to take a short 15-minute break, and Vicky's going to come back again at 7:30. Stick around if you like, or go and enjoy Frost, but we'll be back here at 7:30. Thank you.